the shiny new object syndrome that people are experiencing now. And people think that this is something that is new. They think that they have the opportunity to get in on a project when it was new. They think Hex already did the 10,000x, even though it's down 96% right now from that. They think that, oh yeah, the opportunities in these new projects, that's where they're going to get their 10,000x. Tell us, I know this is not the first one, like these ones that we're seeing now, this is not the first time. Tell us about the shiny object syndrome that has been happening throughout the duration of Hex. People that really have came to the Hex community trying to pitch their new object, making it like this is the new Hex, this is the new opportunity. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I've seen it over and over again from not day one of Hex, but from the first month or two of Hex. People have been trying to say Hex was dead. The amount of times I've heard Hex is dead, I can't even count, right? People capitulate. Even in a bull market, I saw people capitulate. People just can't handle their emotions. They capitulate during a 40-50% dip in a bull market. Mm-hmm. Those types of people are everywhere. That's probably most people, especially in crypto. They come here to get rich quick. They have no idea how to delay gratification and be patient and manage their own emotions, because that's what patience is. It's you have to manage your own thought patterns. These people come and go all the time. We've seen it since day one. I've seen many, many coins come and go, claiming they're going to be the next Hex or better than Hex, or Hex is corrupt and it's going nowhere. Richard Hart's going to fail and doom and gloom. They make these fan fiction narratives and they get a bunch of sad losers to join on top of it. And they get all their followers wrecked in the long run. I mean, it's good for a short-term pump. You might have 1 or 2, 3 months of green candles, maybe if you're lucky. And then it's slowly cashing out from the early guys. They don't bother reviving the narrative. There's no community that ends up surviving for a long time. And a lot of people are left holding the bag. The founders might run away. The early guys might run away with a ton of money. But a lot of people get left holding the bag when if they were just in more stable assets. I mean, even something like Ethereum, not even just talking about Hex, they would have been better off. A lot of it's just nothing new under the sun. These things pop up all the time. I've seen at least 5 wannabe Hex copies come and try to leech, users' mind share. They just leech off the attention and they try to tell you this narrative, and they get you into these dark corners of the internet, and they're like, look at all those OGs, they're evil. And they craft this narrative like, oh, they don't have your best interest at heart. They're gonna dump on your head, and then they just turn because they sell their Hex. Maybe they take a loss on their Hex because they weren't patient enough. And they think they're going to just make their own coin. And some of these people that start their own shit coins or whatever, they're going to make money, but it's going to be at the expense of probably more people than actually gain. Especially in a bear market right now, you can see the grifting is harder than it's ever been. And it's fine. It's fine. If you want to go do your own thing, that's fine. I really don't have a problem until you start shit talking our community and you start trying to literally vampire tech. That's when I get pissed off. And that's when I say, I'm not even going to acknowledge these coins anymore. Like, they're all basically, Pulse Doge was a good example because they were friendly at first and now they're being dicks. And so I don't want nothing to do with them. And it's great if you want to make some money on them, but they
bit the hand that fed them, because you really, you talked about it. You didn't like shill it or whatever, but I'm saying maybe not necessarily even you in particular, but like big influencers like that helped bring it to what it is today. They're now throwing mud, as Hoskinson says, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, you're throwing stones in glass houses, right? So if you want to be respected, don't disrespect me personally, and don't disrespect the whole Hex community personally, and don't make up imaginary fan fiction narratives. Like, I hate this OG crap, right? It's these evil OGs are always just the boogeyman. It's the excuse, right? Of course, people are going to sell. People that got in early are going to sell, and that's redistribution to people that want another shot. All these big sellers get bought up. It's not going to kill Hex. The price can go low. Yes, it can go very, very low, and it's not going to be fun to sit through that. But we're going to be here through that. We're going to be here banded together. And look, as long as you're friendly, I don't have anything bad to say. But lately with some of the stuff I've seen from Pulse Bitcoin people, they're not friendly. And so I don't want anything to do with them.
Well, yeah, very true. And so a take that I had is that it's funny that they're criticizing the Richard Hart's marketing, like his outrage marketing, his brand, his optics. But at the same time, they're piggybacking on the brand. They're literally stealing the Pulse name to prefix their project, and they're stealing the Bitcoin name, but whatever. But I'm saying, if the branding is so bad and the marketing is so bad, why is your very token that you're shilling using the brand and marketing and street credit and everything that Richard Hart built? It's like the irony is so rich. It's beautiful.
Yep. They're all complaining because they wanted that leg to stand on to say, oh, see, we're going to be good for the Pulsechain ecosystem. And that always starts out like that. And they honeydicked me too, which I'm a little salt. I'm not too happy about that.
Yeah.
And again, I would have been fine if they just played in their own sandbox, did their own marketing and everything, but they're trying to market at the expense of another community. And that's a literal vampire attack. It's literal leeching. I've seen Jack do some shady stuff like that too. It's like, it just rubs me the wrong way, right? It's like these guys they want to take shots at the big one, the Hex, the one that did a 10,000x, the literal black swan. And they think they're going to make their next one. It's like, these things don't happen often. And I don't really have faith in a lot of these guys that just got to crypto or don't have any prior business experience or any experience of being successful at all. And they're now just grifting because they're mad that maybe they lost money in Hex, and they're just crafting these demonizations of, oh, you're in the exit liquidity coin. It's like, bro, fine. You weren't meant to make the money in Hex anyway.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you want to say, like, you're going to end up losing either way. Even if you make money, it's going to be at the expense of probably a lot of your happiness and your relationships and all that.
Yeah, beautifully said. And it's funny, people like even OGs, like, they haven't experienced such a long bear market, and it really shows. This really brings out the maturity. It brings out the best of people, and it also brings out the worst of people. And we're really getting to see that. And I think it's very good that people that are not really as solid as they presented themselves are really outing themselves, or really, showing people what they're really about and who they really are. And I also think it's very healthy for the price. It's very healthy for the price that the people that are complaining about this correction, they're obviously not so long-term minded. Maybe they were sitting on a very big stack of Hex before this correction, and they're like, oh shoot, I should have sold then. And when you're in that mindset, and I've been in that mindset because I have experienced 1,500 X's, and then when the price comes back, that's when they dump. So getting this uncertainty in them, getting them to second guess all their decisions and to possibly sell now when they're up 10, 20, 100X is actually an excellent thing, because now people that are more long-term minded, that are ready to throw it down 10 years, are going to be buying up their bags, and there's going to be less sell pressure when the price comes back. So it's a very good thing, and people shouldn't be complaining. I think this is a very good thing.
Yeah. I mean, the bear market washes out the short-term minded people. Exactly what you said. So this is the transitionary phase. It's not comfortable, right? But, people show their true colors, and they show you who's in it for a quick pump or, maybe a short-term thing, and then who's in it for the long haul, who's got their staking ladder. I mean, most people that are laddered, or, people do one of two things, right? They're either laddered and they're probably a believer the whole time, or maybe they were liquid the whole time and they've already dumped. Maybe they were liquid and they bought the top, and then they sold the bottom, and they're just salty and angry little boys.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you have a choice. When you're down 90%, you can double down on your conviction, or you can just go away. And you can go away peacefully. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand these people that have so much hate in their heart that they have to go away, trying to destroy everything else along the way. A lot of people, you'll see them dump Hex and then start just being totally antagonistic. And those people are scumbags, because you could just shut the hell up and move on with your life. And you probably would be better off. You'd be more liked in the community, right? Like, you wouldn't be hated. I don't care if you sell Hex, but it's when you sell Hex and then you actively attack it is what I don't like.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree with that 100%. If you want to sell, this is a free market here. We are for the free markets. We are for people buying and selling, and people are saying, oh yeah, the OGs are just going to constantly dump on the people that are new. It's like, selling is what happens. It's called a correction. It's if you're in the right asset, that goes up over time. And I think community and tokenomics really determine that. And I think Hex has both. Corrections are opportunities for the people that are more long-term minded to start picking it up. And that's why, the corrections, as more and more long-term minded people come in, the corrections get smaller and smaller, because you have just more people that are that are more long-term minded. So the first cycle has the biggest pump and also the biggest correction. And that's what we're experiencing now. And I think that's a very good thing. I think I had a point.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
You can just look at the development cycles of these coins too. It's like if you whipped up a coin in 3 months, Hex took 2 years to create.
2 years, yeah.
There was a lot of thought that went into it. There was a lot of future modeling as well, like prediction modeling for different scenarios. They really made sure it was long-term viable. And what it tells me, this massive dip in Hex, tells me that a lot of bandwagon fans joined in during the peak euphoria of the bull. And it is a low liquidity coin relatively to other coins, right? And because of that, the price pumped really, really high, but it also dipped really, really low because it had to wash out all those people that were just buying it because it was a ticker symbol and they didn't care what it was. And you see all these other coins popping up and they just, whipped them together in 3 months, literally 3 months. It's like, it's okay. I mean, the code is probably sound and solid, but the long-term viability of the idea is what I'm not really sold on.
Yeah. It's often not even novel. They're just repackaging.
Yeah. I mean, Richard posted about the other Bitcoin copy. I didn't even know about that one, but yeah, copying Bitcoin on.
Yeah, that's also going to be Pulse Bitcoin because it's going to be copied over onto Pulse.
Yeah, technically, sure. And a lot of these fair distribution things, I've seen coins like that too, where you can free claim the coin and everybody gets their free claims in and they dump it and nobody's really incentivized to carry on the narrative. I mean, I haven't seen any real YouTubers or influencers or people that I respect, other than maybe Jack. I respect Jack as an actual intelligent human being. Like, I respect Jack. But you don't see people popping up to come defend their shitcoin bags. You know what I mean? They just buy these shitcoins and then they hide in the corners hoping it's going to pump. And, they just troll and they just, these 10 follower guys on Twitter just start trolling all the Hex and Pulsechain people. And
block.
And yeah, you just got to mute it. You know what I mean? Like, I am a big fan of the mute button. I recommend that to everybody. Some people will message me saying, "Oh, I'm really scared about, the SEC and other various FUD." I'm like, just don't pay attention to it because you're taking in and absorbing a lot of different opinions from people that don't know anything about what they're talking about. They have no fucking idea what they're talking about. These aren't lawyers. These are probably people that may have not even had a formal education. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they're faceless trolls on Twitter that just want to cause harm, and you're giving them attention. So you can manage where your attention goes. You have the ability to manage where your attention goes. And it's very, very important that you take responsibility for that because we can't do that for you. If you're scrolling through Twitter all day long and you're looking for the negative stuff, you're going to find the negative stuff. And then you are going to feel like the world is ending. And you might capitulate yourself. You might shake yourself out of what could be the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this because, look, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, right? But to me, it's too risky to not participate in the potential for life-changing wealth. I mean, Hex is one thing, but even crypto in general, right? It's too risky not to. This might not work out, right? There's always a chance that Hex might not work out. Oh my God, I said it, right? But knowing what I know and seeing what I see, all these people popping up, coming out to talk about this new paradigm, this new financial ecosystem that's coming out. And I like most of the Pulsechain guys. Most of the guys that have their own projects, I like them for the most part, as long as they're not assholes, right? But all of this stuff could go to zero. A lot of my coins that I sacrificed for, they might go to zero. We're all gambling, but it's too risky not to. Like, there's literally no other asset class where you can make life-changing wealth. You're not going to get it in the stock market unless you want to wait 60 years. And in that case, you might as well just work for your whole life and retire. And that's the normal route, the play it safe route. You're not going to get it in real estate. Real estate is probably going to go down for the next 10 years. Not crash, but it's going to go slowly
unless you're rich. Like, it's a real estate game it's like you got to have tons of money to buy property.
Yeah, the thing about real estate is if you do have enough for a down payment on a 4-unit, you can make cash flow and you could make money that way. It's a lot more of an active approach.
Yeah,
right? I like the ability to just set it and forget it in crypto. But Funding Jim had a good point the other day, and there's really no such thing as passive income, right? Like, yeah, I know I have hexpassiveincome.com. I know I understand the irony, but we all do stuff. Like, the course that I created is a passive income machine for me, but it took a lot of work up front in order to get to that point where I could just let it go on its own. Same thing with Hex as well, right? Like I feel more motivated to come out in the bottom of the bear markets because I feel the motivation to defend my bags, because I want them to be these passive income generators for me in the future. And they are right now. If I went away tomorrow, honestly, Hex would probably be fine. Like people place way too much importance in these influencers and stuff. The code is going to live on and be just fine. But passive income isn't passive, right? You know, you want to generate cash flow in a real estate 4 unit. You're going to have to do upkeep and maintenance on the house. You're going to have to fix the washing machine sometimes. When the dishwasher breaks down, you got to call a guy to fix it. So nothing is, everything takes your mental bandwidth in some capacity.
Yeah, beautifully said. And I did want to discuss the Hex passive income, but I think the point that I wanted to make was, yeah, there's a lot of people selling, but hey, guess what? Cardano's down 92% in its second cycle. And you want to criticize the outrage marketing? Does Charles Hoskinson do outrage marketing? I call Charles Hoskinson the good boy. His coin's down 92%. It's the Pulsechain delay. Oh yeah. Does Cardano have an imminent Pulsechain launch that's going to happen in the future that's being delayed? They don't even have a Pulsechain launch. They're down 92%. SHIB's down. Everything's down, guys. Like everyone's just trying to form their narrative. It's a correction. Fed's tightened. It's a 4-year cycle. We're in the bear market. Yep. People sell. People get scared. Where you see panic, I see opportunity. Me and Crypto Coffee see opportunity.
That's right.
That's really what it comes down to. Don't let people screw you out of this thing. Like another thing people are saying, oh, people don't want to buy Hex. They want to buy Pulse Bitcoin. They want to buy all these S coins. Otherwise, they'd be putting into Hex. That's not true. People are chasing shiny objects, and if they weren't chasing them, then they'd be sitting on the side waiting for lower prices, and then probably having to buy higher. Like people like buying tops and selling bottoms. It has nothing to do with other people not putting their money in, like not putting in their money to chase shiny objects. It has nothing to do with outrage marketing. Hex is the rule. It's not the exception. Look at freaking crypto bubbles. It's all red. It's lit up. Like
everything is down bad. It's true. And people get so focused on their one little lane, and then they see a green candle for like 1 week over in some other coin. They're like, oh man, I got to go chase that green candle. Idle hands are truly the devil's playground. I mean, boredom will get you annihilated in crypto. I say this over and over again, but people feeling like they have to do something is the number one, thing that gets people wrecked. It's the number one thing that wrecks people in crypto.
Yeah.
Feeling like you have to go in there and click a button and look at the prices every day and move this over here and move that over here.
Yeah, true.
I mean, if you would have just bought Hex in the early days, in the first year and a half, and just sat on it and staked it, you'd be up and you'd be happy right now. You know, instead of like, I don't know. Look, it's fine. I mean, I appreciate when people are able to make money in any different coin, whatever their strategy is, but the more active approach you take, you might be winning right now. You might have found some creative way to make, a couple $1,000s right now in the bear market, but it's not going to last forever. And you might get overconfident. I mean, take it from someone that I've done that, right? I've been very overconfident. You get cocky and then you end up blowing it all on some really stupid coin, because like one thing leads to another. One shiny object leads to more. Say, oh, I made $5,000 on this one. Let me put $3,000 into these other ones. And then the other one's like, you make maybe $4,000 on one of those. And then you disperse that to like 3 more shit coins. And then next thing you know, those 3 coins go to 0. And you end up with basically like almost as the same amount of money, if not less money than you started with. And you just wasted your time cycling through all these different coins, cycling through all these narratives, reading all these people's opinions that don't matter, and mindlessly doom scrolling on Twitter. It's not good. It's not good. If you're scrolling through Twitter all day, at least make sure to clean it up to the point where mute the people that aren't serving your best interests. Mute the people that just want to make you feel bad. I mean, some people are literally energy vampires, and people have full accounts with thousands and thousands of followers that are purely engagement bait. Energy vampires. There's like some whale account out there. There's so many different accounts that I see just the most generic, painfully obvious engagement tweets. And it's like, a lot of you guys fall for it. It's just like, stop, like, don't engage. My favorite one is nobody can resist a poll, right? So somebody will just do like the most basic ass poll of like, which coin do you think will pump? And it's like ADA, Hex, like, I don't know, XRP. And it's just like, you can tell it's obviously just people farming for engagement. And that's what these people do, right? They don't care about your opinion. They just know that you're going to feel the irresistibility to click on it.
Yep.
And you can't help yourself, guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just mute accounts like that. And my Twitter feed looks pretty dang good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to keep my head in the sand where I'm ignoring new things. But when new things pop up, I take a look at them. I form my opinion. It's like form your opinion quickly and change your mind slowly, right?
Yes.
Like that's kind of my motto. Like, okay, well, I don't really like, I read this white paper. I think this idea is pretty crappy. It would take a really lot for me to change my mind on that. You know, I'll keep some people, you know, if some people want to talk about that coin, I'll keep them in my feed as long as they're not just totally unbearable. But I'm not going to flood my whole feed with, you know, these new differing opinions, because there's a kind of a balance you have to strike. You know, you don't want to have your head in the sand. I totally get that. You want to be open-minded, but you also don't want to let low tier noise from low quality people into your feed, because that is your attention. Your Twitter feed is like your attention.
People are battling for your attention.
They're fighting. Yeah, they'll do whatever it takes. They'll throw anybody under the bus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, beautifully said. And speaking of battling for attention, please, if you're enjoying the video, like this video, subscribe to this video, to this channel. Obviously, I'm sure you already did, but if you haven't, you better go to Crypto Coffee's YouTube channel and subscribe to that, and follow at Crypto Coffee 369 on Twitter, and buy the Hex Passive Income course if you're a beginner.